Hi folks, and welcome back to another Hearts of Iron 4 campaign, and today we're playing possibly my greatest challenge yet. We're playing as Poland. It's going to be historical setting for the AI focuses, and we're going to see if we can hold off the German Reich and the USSR in 1939 and survive as Poland. So I should just point out that when I say this is historical settings, we've got the historical focuses for the AI. Obviously, we're not going to do everything historically as Poland did, otherwise we will have to capitulate in 1939. So we're going to do things slightly differently, but we're going to try and stick to an historical theme. And the reason I say that is because if we look in the Polish focus tree, this tree comes in with the No Step Back expansion, which also focuses on the USSR, but it adds loads of Polish government options here for different things. So one thing we could do, we could have a peasants' uprising, and we could go with the peasants. That definitely leads to, it's left-leaning, if not full left-leaning communism. I don't want to go down that. We can assemble a regency council and reinstate the Polish monarch, of which we have a choice of 4. They all lead to very different outcomes. We're not going to do that. We're not going to go nationalist. We're going to have a look at the Polish government as it is and as it was leading up to the start of World War II. So it was, it's called the Senation government. I don't know quite how that's pronounced, but it was an unaligned and tried to balance the left and the right. And I think historically, it went down with this guy, Ignacy Mościcki. I know I'm pronouncing these wrong. And he tried to balance the wills of the left and right of the Polish Senate, Parliament, government. I don't know actually. It's not quite, doesn't work quite the same as it does here in the UK. My thoughts are we're going to be slightly left-leaning and go for democracy, just because I don't like the fascist options, and what he did didn't work. So we're going to do it slightly differently, but we're going to have a Polish government similar to the one of the day. And the guy who will lead the government, if we get this right, he was a previous Polish prime minister. It's not like a fantasy character. It's just a slightly different outcome. And I'm hoping this will lead us down a path that will be able to hold off the Germans. Now, there's 2 strategies that we can use for this. And there are advocates for both, because it's very hard. Germany will demand Danzig in, I think, 1939. And if you say no, that leads to war. And if you say yes, you cede all this area. And Germany leaves you alone. But by that point, on historical settings, they've already made the Ribbentrop Pact with the USSR, and the USSR will invade at the end of the year. So Poland didn't cede Danzig. They resisted the German demands. Germany invaded, and although it's not as well known, the USSR also invaded. So Poland were caught between two invading enemies. Although I don't think the Allies, for all Britain and France did join in, because they had a pact with Poland. They also had a pact with Czechoslovakia, but didn't join in there. Probably should have done. But they didn't actually send a lot of direct help to Poland or do much to really help Poland. They sat on the border here and didn't really pull the Germans away. France made a brief foray and actually could have gone much further, but the government got a bit scared and pulled them back. But yes, the USSR also invaded, and the Allies didn't recognise that invasion. Maybe Stalin was saying he was doing it under pretense of being a peacekeeper. Who knows? But they didn't believe the Poles. And so Poland got crushed from 2 sides. So we're going to try and see if we can resist that crush from 2 sides. And we're going to see how this works out. Now, one option is to turtle up and build a ring of forts within this river system here. Can you see this river down here? It's frozen at the moment. Well, it's not frozen, but it's in the winterlands. So if we made a ring of forts behind there and in the mountains to protect the border, and probably including Katowice here and up behind this river, because there's a lot of resources here, then we could totally turtle up. We'd cede this land, and we'd cede this land to the invaders, but we might be able to hold on. And if we do that, we have to wait for the Allies to come and rescue us, however long that takes. It might also prevent Germany going to war with the USSR, and it'll almost certainly drag the Allies into a war with the USSR. So that's going to be a very different outcome. We'll see how... I mean, this might be a playthrough where we have to restart because the first attempt fails. And if it does, so be it. We want to see if Poland can hold one way or another. That involves using your industry to build a lot of forts. I mean, a lot of forts, and it's a slow process. And the other idea is the theory is, don't build forts, build a goddamned army. Put all your industry into boosting the army as much as possible and fight for every scrap of land. If you were the Polish government in 1936 and you had a suspicion, say you had someone like Winston Churchill in your cabinet who knew that Germany was rearming and Germany was pushing for war, you had a suspicion this was going to come, that's probably what you would do. You would fight for every scrap of land. So for the first attempt, we're going to see if that works. So let's jump in. Doesn't have a great industry to start with. We've only got 3 research slots, although there is the possibility to upgrade that. So let's get our industry going. Construction is going to be absolutely key with this. And factory output. We don't have a lot of factories. And just to try and speed both of these up, well, we want this to get radio, because radio helps with reinforcement rates, and that's going to be key to holding the lines wherever we go. So let's just gather the army in as well. There are lots of options to do. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this government, by the way, these government things. It's an absolute nightmare to go down any of these, because as soon as you go down this line, this guy and this guy starts getting upset. So if you choose a policy that favours the other one, it's like, no. It's like watching the British Parliament. It's pathetic. So you've got to try and balance the two whilst picking the bits that you want and try to get past it as soon as possible, because it will lead to a civil war, and it might do if we get this wrong. So there's risks attached to this. Anyway, let's get the army together. Put them all into one. So we have so many divisions, 40 divisions to start with. Let's put all the infantry into one army. In fact, there's too many there, so let's also... In fact, let's pick two armies of roughly equal size. I just messed that up. There we go. That will do nicely. And in here we've got 8 cavalry, is it? 10 cavalry, and then 2 mountaineers. You'll also see, let's get the infantry into a defensive force here. When we go to pick generals, they're either left-leaning or right-leaning. And there's a chance that some of these will, certainly if there's a civil war, the ones that aren't on your side will leave, and you'll be shorter generals and field marshals. We want a good defensive guy on this, by the way. And I don't know what will happen to some of these with our outcome that we're going to get. So we might suddenly be very short of generals. Something to bear in mind if you're playing as this. So we want some right solid defensive infantry forces in here. There are some good commanders from Poland. Infantry officer would be good. What's that one? Reconnaissance? Oh, this chap here. Max entrenchment. Yep, let's put that in. He's actually not aligned to the party, so that's quite good. Let's put him in as well. Max entrenchment. That could be the general's name, couldn't it? Okay, so let's find another one. There's another one. Defensive doctor. Yep, let's do that. So these guys are going to be the ones that are hopefully going to hold our lines. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do this yet. It's going to depend on how many divisions we can produce. I think defending the whole border will be pointless because we've got this terrible salient here which will be surrounded and cut off. So it's likely that we may have to fall back. I want to try and hold Danzig as I can because it's our only port and our means of trading for resources with someone like Finland or Sweden, which we could do. If Germany holds this, we won't be able to trade through these straits anyway. But there are options anyway, so we'll see what we can achieve with this. I will leave those guys out of there. Do you know what? I don't think we're going to need mountaineers. I'm going to switch those back into infantry templates. Yes, it might be a mistake. It might. But we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. Right, let's get all those guys on training. So if we're going to build an army, we're going to need military factories, civilian factories as well, but there's lots of focuses we can use to get those. And we've also got to think, if we do have to fall back, I don't want to be building factories out on these borders because we're going to lose them. So if we have to fall back, we may as well put our effort into building things in the interior, into areas that we think we can hold in an emergency. I think that's just common sense. So let's get that interwar. Those are ground support aircraft. Let's get some interwar small airframe. These are like interwar fighters. We're gonna leave that on production. It's not great, but it's something. I'm gonna hope the Allies will come to our aid with the Air Force as they did when we played Norway. Now we're gonna need some guns here. We're gonna need artillery, and we're gonna need anti-aircraft firepower. We're gonna be overwhelmed. Let's be honest with enemy aircraft. USSR and Germany, it's going to be tough. So we're going to need those in the divisions, and this is just to give the infantry some extra bite as well. But it's really going to be infantry equipment that we absolutely need to start with. And we're going to need lots of it. Missing equipment production, close air. That's fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to just disband our current Air Force, and we're going to rebuild it as we need it. Because there's another issue with manpower at the start, and we can't fully... We can change the conscription laws. We can't change the economy laws and civilian economy. It's going to be a struggle to get the political power to do all this. But this is going to be something we have to do early. It might be the very first thing we do. We've got this April Constitution, which is currently a big debuff to anything political power related. We've got a peasant strike that's looming. That has to be dealt with super fast. And this is the left and right leaning oppositions, which they're just awful. If you have to play as Poland, having to deal with this is just a big pain in the arse. So we're going to try and ignore that for as long as possible until we really go down that government line. We have to get everything else in place first. The Navy is not worth worrying about at the moment because I very much doubt we can save it or do much with it. Unless I can get a pact with Sweden, and I can maybe send the Navy to go and sit there. It's possibly unlikely. And I'll see if I remember to try. So, with the army dealt with, we need to pick a national focus. This is what we're going to go down later. See that this starts this stupid political wrangling, but the second thing here is really good because it gives you more manpower, and that's like a huge, huge bonus at the start. So we need to be... I am going to go and get Danzig, and I'll explain why at the time. But I don't think it's going to be the immediate plan because I need to build up political power first. And when you go for this, I'll explain how it works when we go. But you need to have political power in the bank ready. But we need to get the peasants' strike out of the way first. So let's go for this 4-year plan. We get a bonus research for construction technology. And we're going to start down this. So let's hope that everything makes sense as we go. I think we're good to go. Right. Hit the clock. And let's move. This is going to be tough, folks. Wish me luck. See, if we're going for building the army to, like, kick the enemy out, we're going to have to hold in the west whilst we conquer this bit of Germany, and they will defend this. They will have this prepared. It's not prepared at the moment, but by God, they will fight for that. Could we risk going for an extra research slot now? Or could I get this? This gives me 2 civilian factories. I'm going to go... Oh, it's 35 days. We can definitely afford to do that first. What we have to watch is the peasant strike. We've got less than a year, but we've got time. We have to deal with that. Italy moves to annex the Sultanate of Ossa. Once again, Italy going all in. And they've gone for it. In North Africa. Or would that technically be East Africa there? Yeah, this might be the first playthrough you've seen me lose at. But if we need another attempt, we'll have another attempt. Excellent. Extra civilian factories are always good. See, this is more military factories. I think... Now, that one's a good one because that grants infantry equipment production cost minus 5%. And increases the land fort construction speed by 25% for 2 years. I want to time that right, because for all I do need more infantry equipment. If I'm going to build forts, I'll need to do it while I've got that bonus on. So this is going to take 140 days. So let me just check how much time we've got to do this. We've got... Okay, I can afford to do both of these. And both of those, which is going to give us 3 military factories straight away. The research slot would be quite nice, though. Factories. Got to be factories. I've got to do factories first. And I'm going to be leaving this a little bit tight, but we're going to do it. Oh, let's get some troops on the boil as well. So, yeah, give me 20. What have we got? Give me 24 infantry divisions. We're not going to get that, are we? No. Okay. Let's cross a couple of those off. I'm looking at the manpower. Hang on, that's gone wrong. What if I just click there? Train. 16 divisions. I'll just cross a couple of those off. Yeah, so we've got some spare manpower. Okay, we'll get those in training. We're gonna upgrade those with artillery support and more infantry. But we need to get this going. So, first job is to get this conscription changed. Let's get my precious radios. Okay, Poland actually has a good pool of manpower. It's just not set up to use it at the start. So we got that. Expand the University of Warsaw. That would give us the research slot straight away. Extra steel and aluminium there, which is nice. And this one, it's 70 days for that one. I don't want to risk it, so I'm going to go for this. We're just going to get one military factory. And then we're going to deal with the Peasants' Revolt. Excellent. We've got our first extra military factory on the go. So we've got these building up. Let's reuse the old stock to get our fighters up a bit better. And let's put... This is going to get hurt, so I'm going to put one in there and one in... One in there. That's okay. We don't have the experience to mess about with that yet, so... It's okay, as long as we have the equipment in stock, as long as I get divisions in the field, that's the most important thing. I didn't even see what that was. Sorry, I do beg your pardon. I should have looked at that. Let's see if we can upgrade this first. Reinforcement rate, division recovery rate. I'm going to put that up because it's going to be a pretty tough slog once this starts. I hope we get to keep both of these leaders. These are quite decent. Invest in the old Polish region. Oh, 70 days. That one gives us like a stack of 4 factories. That's a good one to get. However, the situation with the peasant is 226. Let's not mess about in case something unforeseen happens. I mean, this builds us a little railway as well, so it's not like a waste of time to get. Yeah, I think we're just going to need that. Let's pile this up. As much infantry equipment as possible. It's always interesting in the run-up to a war. I find it like quite an exciting part of any game. Trying to prepare as best you can. This is quite nice, but I think we're going to go, yeah, dispersed industry, factory output plus 10%. And we're going to get bombed, and I don't think we'll have an adequate fighter defense. I don't think we'll have an adequate radar or anti-aircraft system set up in the time that we have available. So we'll go dispersed industry for this. This is all a bit of a new thing to me. I did have to spend a day yesterday, well, not a full day, but some of my time during the day, trying to figure out what was going to be the best approach to the governments and see how they worked or how they didn't work, as the case might have been. Shall we go straight for construction? Yeah, let's go straight for it, because we're going to be building a lot of stuff, especially when we start building... We will build a few forts, I'm pretty certain. Nationalist Spain declared war on Spain. There's a surprise. I've never seen that happen before in this game. Fill the railway gaps. And... Oh, this is a good one as well, by the way. This gives us a massive reduction in consumer goods factories for 2 years. So that's a really good one to get. Let's get this... This is the peasant strike. So this just gets rid of that looming peasant strike. And then we can just chill out a little bit and consider our options from there. Ethiopia has capitulated. Italy's taken it, as expected. It's also quite important to get a military advisor in fairly early to start developing army experience. And you've got the possibility of doing an air advisor too, and then developing a better aircraft. Because you actually start with a better model than what we've got. I just don't have any experience to design it. The games of the 11th Olympiad. German athletes saw the most success, winning 33 gold medals, while the Americans came in second with 24. That wouldn't happen today. America just rules the roost at the Olympics just because they've got such a big pool of athletes to pull from. And I think most of their sports are quite well funded. But anyway, that's a different matter. So I think we need 170 some points for this. 172. Just because... Is it going to go? It's going to tick over any second. There we go. No, don't make me miss this game. Volunteer, limited conscription. And that's going to start filling up the manpower pool, which is great. There's another thing to consider with that. Which will... Are we on time for 37? It's a bit early. It's a little bit early. We could set someone off doing that. Or I could just get this. This is fine. We're in need of doing that one. So the manpower thing. If you were going to do the turtle technique where you fortify this area and just try and defend this and just forsake all the rest, all these regions have manpower. So you'd want to get your conscription laws up well before the war, build a massive pool of manpower, and then put every single point of that nearly into training in here before retreating and allowing the enemy to take over these, because then you've got the manpower from these regions already in your manpower pool. And I think even if you disbanded those divisions, then they would go back to here, whereas if you left the manpower effectively in these areas, which then got taken over, you would lose that use. So that's something that we should keep in mind. This is looking much better now. This is going up nicely. Do we have points to spend here? He's already got his defensive doctrine. So is he. Good. So they're fine. And they do just need to sit tight and hold the line wherever we decide we're going to put it. Anyway, more important things to do. We're going to get rid of the Peasants' Revolt, which was a real thing. Or I don't know if they actually did rebel or whether they were looking like, and they needed to have agricultural reform and stuff. So the radio we've got. Do I want to go further down there? Or do I want to get other things on the go just yet? The air is always good. Support companies are always... Oh, yeah, we need trucks. Trucks and trains. Yeah, let's get those going. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck very quickly. I'm quite excited for this campaign. I think it's going to be fun. So we've got rid of the peasant strike, which is excellent. There's some great things to go for in here. But what we're going to do... Clamp down on Danzig. I think it's a little bit early to do that. Just because we haven't got much political power built up. So we're going to... Let's go for some more factories. Eastern Poland, that's going to give us quite a lot. It's only 35-day ones, because they're my favourites. I love the 35-day ones. Not there. That one is land doctrine, but that can come anytime. There's not a huge advantage for going that right now. I'm going to go... I'm going to go that one. Let's get that one. 70 days will get us quite a bit of political power, and then I think we're going to go for the Danzig option and play that out. How's the construction coming along? Big shortage of infantry weapons. There might actually... I might have a reason not to do that. Okay. We'll see this in a minute. I've got too big a shortage of infantry weapons here. So this is going to be problematical. We've built all the military factories that we can so far. Don't want to start building forts yet. We've got the technology to do synthetic refineries and stuff. That'll take a lot of construction. I think we're probably in the state of just needing more military factories. So let's go for 2 in there while they build up. Yeah, so Danzig, it's an odd situation with Danzig. I didn't know about this at all. It's classified as a free city. So it's like a demilitarized zone. You can see the red border around it, which was like, this region or this region? Whichever, the Germans, the demilitarized zone for Germany. Now, we're not getting any benefit from it at the moment, for all it's technically part of our territory. So if we do that, it basically goes into a rebellion, almost, sort of. It's like you've got to garrison it. So to make sure you've got enough infantry equipment to do that, one technique is to disband the cavalry regiments, which is possible. They're only weak and we can build them back up. However, if I've got all that infantry equipment going into building those other divisions, yeah, I might need to cancel that. Those divisions aren't going to get built while we have a shortage of equipment anyway. And as soon as I've sorted Danzig out, I can put them in and we'll get them in the field before the war goes. I think that's probably the way to do it. Let's get this going on. Let's visit this already. Sorry, this one. Let's knock that off. So are you just missing... they're missing infantry equipment. But it's not too much now. It's minus 8.3k. It's going down. We're producing some, so that's good. Modernise the congressional factories. Excellent. Oh, the Anti-Comintern Pact. Germany proposes that we sign a pact to address the Comintern's goal of spreading communism worldwide through the use of subversion and violence. By signing the pact, we agree to share intelligence on the communist threat and act in close cooperation against this menace. If you wanted to take Poland down the fascist path and join in with Germany, there are options to do that in this tree, then that would be good in a non-historical playthrough. I don't think we want to do it in this, so I'm going to refuse, and Germany hates us. I don't think they have a high opinion of us anyway, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Do I want to build up a bit more political power before I do this? Banning Nazi parties and things. This gives us a low... Oh, it gives us political power anyway, so that's quite good. Right. Do you know what? Let's go for it. Let's start this off now. Because when you get it completed, you get as a bonus a reduction in consumer goods factories. A small one. Military factories. That's at 8,000. These are building up nicely. I'm going to put one more in there. And the next one in there. And the construction is... It's ticking over. We need to get the economy changed. So much stuff we need to do. But we have now... Two and a bit years to do it in. What's this? Oh, deploy units. Have I not... I haven't put a location for this. Keep reading this town as random. I think I'll form a separate army with this group. We've got that researched, have we? We're in 37. Let's go back to some industry. We want as much output as we can. We'll put that in the defensive force. And do we have a decent commander somewhere? There's a couple of cavalry commanders, actually. Who's got the most defensive ability? This guy. I don't know if he'll disappear, though. But anyway, he can go in there for now. And he can train our new dudes up. I'll position them. And when I realise where I want to put them down. So we're starting this then. Don't worry, we're not going to worry about building ships and stuff. But we are going to ban the Nazi party and get them kicked out of Danzig. Right. So we'll see what that gives us in the end. But to do that, we have a bit of work to do. And we can't afford to do the government things yet. For all that is giving us a bit of a penalty. So an extra research slot would be nice. But I'm thinking probably... I'm going to try and do that once I get the... Oh, I can't get the economy changed. That's why we're doing Danzig. Because we're... I'll show you why. Let's go for this. For a load of factories. This sounds like a good one. I am looking at... this, right? So... Oh, we've got a civilian economy. Oh, we can change this. Oh, I think what we've already changed has done that then. Because this one... Does that remove anything? It doesn't, but it's... I think before then, you... I'm in the wrong thing, hang on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. It's this. It is this. So you're an embargoed economy, which is not great. And it's to get off this. This is why we're doing the Danzig one. Sorry, folks, I was getting the two mixed up. I knew there was a reason I was doing this. So Danzig instantly goes into revolt. Or it will do now. Poland seizes Danzig. I'm going to read this out because I don't really know much about this this business. Established by the Treaty of Versailles in 1920, the Free City of Danzig has, until today, been an independent nation under the protection of the Polish state. However, with tensions mounting around the German-Polish border and the refusal of the Danzig government to allow Polish trade through the city port, the Polish government has declared today that Danzig is no longer a free city. Already the streets of Danzig are being filled with Polish soldiers with the sole mission of increasing the state's power over the city. Albert Forster and many other Nazi Party members have gone into hiding, and there is talk of a rebellion and eventual defection to the German Reich. A free city, no more. So that is in that situation. So we need infantry equipment. So, bye-bye cavalry. We'll be fine. We'll gain the infantry equipment. The garrisons will do their job. And we have a dockyard, but I don't think there's going to be much point in building this up. So we'll see. Now, this is what we do. We need to